Hello everyone, my name is Tiago. Welcome to my channel. I come from China and I'm a native Chinese man. I have lived in different countries for many years. Some of my local friends told me they are interested in Chinese culture a lot. But while talking with them, I found they had many misunderstandings about China. So I want to open this channel to introduce a real China to the world. To make my videos funny, I will choose a special way. In each episode, I will share several different viewpoints about China with you. Please use your current knowledge to judge whether it's true or false. After that, I would like to tell you why and take you to explore some little-known stories behind it. In China, there is an old saying: food is the first necessity of the people. So, my first video today will be with the theme Chinese food to test how much you know about it. In this episode, I have prepared 3 viewpoints for you. Number 1. Most Chinese people like eating wild poisonous mushrooms. Number 2. Most Chinese women like eating the secretions of a kind of bird. Number 3. Most Chinese people like eating dog meat. Could you judge which one is true? Please think about it. Before starting our stories, let me give you a preview in advance. At the end of this video, I will recommend a food writer who came from the UK and spent 20 years eating all over China. If you want to know what real Chinese food looks like in the eyes of a native European, don't miss it. Well, the first story today is about mushrooms. Most Chinese people like eating wild poisonous mushrooms. Do you think it's true? Is this beyond your understanding? Keep watching. Mushrooms are a pretty common food in China. They have become regular on the Chinese table due to their delicious taste. It should be noted that most people only eat artificially grown ordinary mushrooms and have no toxicity. However, you may not expect that. There is such a very special province in the southwest end of China, and its name is Yunnan. Yunnan's topography is very rich. It has towering, snow-capped mountains, deep canyons, and dense virgin forests. These unique geographical environments make Yunnan an ideal habitat for various mushrooms. There are 2,189 species of edible mushrooms in the world, and Yunnan has more than 900 species, accounting for nearly 1 in 2. So, Yunnan is also known as the Mushroom Kingdom. Wild mushrooms have a more delicious taste than ordinary ones, especially some wild mushrooms that contain trace amounts of toxins. In addition, there is no cost to pick it yourself in the wild. Therefore, picking and eating wild mushrooms, even those containing mild toxins, have become the favorite of those foodies in Yunnan. However, due to various reasons, such as improper handling or accidental ingestion, thousands of people in Yunnan province have been poisoned by eating wild mushrooms every year, and the mortality rate is as high as about 1%. Therefore, There is a saying in Yunnan: you must be familiar with the types of mushrooms, and you must also be familiar with the way to the hospital. Do you happen to know what you can see if you get poisoned by eating mushrooms? It is said to be like this. I forgot to tell you, I just ate a plate of wild mushrooms before shooting. It seemed that I saw many sprites dancing in front of me just now, and I was trying to pick them up with my chopsticks. In fact, if we look at the whole of China, you will find picking and eating wild poisonous mushrooms is never an option for most Chinese people. So, this viewpoint is wrong. Did you guess it right? No matter what, if you come to China, be sure to remember this proverb. Some mushrooms can only be eaten once in a lifetime. Okay, let's look at the second point. Most Chinese women like eating the secretions of a kind of bird. When you heard the word animal secretions, did you immediately think of luwak coffee? Do Chinese women like eating something from bird droppings? Not exactly. Why? Take it easy. Let's go into the next story. Do you know this bird? Its name is swiftlet, and it mainly lives on cave cliffs on the coasts of East and Southeast Asia. Because there are no trees nearby, they can only build nests with saliva and down, and this kind of nest is called edible bird's nest. The bird's nest was originally just a home for swiftlets, and the locals didn't pay much attention to it at all. However, more than 600 years ago, when Zheng He, the great Chinese navigator, sailed to the west and brought the bird's nest back to China as a delicacy, it became a rare commodity, and demand exceeded supply. The price soared, prompting locals to risk their lives to pick them on the cliffs all night long. In China, this edible bird's nest has always been praised as a natural nourishing product. It is said to have magical effects on nourishing the body and beautifying the skin. Many women not only buy it to eat themselves, but also treat it as precious gifts for relatives and friends, like this. You would never imagine that in China, high-quality natural bird's nest is just like gold, which is sold in grams, and its price is not much cheaper than gold. Why is bird's nest so expensive? In some ways, not because of their high nutritional value, but because the number of high-quality natural swiftlets nests are limited, and they are all located on cliffs, so the cost of manual collection is high. When a thing is scarce, it's precious. Also, merchants continue to hype up its efficacy All of this make the bird's nest widely praised. After all, when Chinese people spend a lot of money to buy the bird's nest, they are only consuming its rare aura, not its own nutritional value. Is this phenomenon very similar to diamond? It's just a carbon element and doesn't have much practical value, but it is extremely precious. Anyway, most Chinese women like to eat the secretions of a kind of bird. This point is true. This secretion is called edible bird's nest. Did you guess it right? In this world, there are many things that cannot be simply measured by their own value. For example, if you subscribe to my channel or just give my video a like, it might seem like a small gesture, but it's really helpful to me. By the way, don't be worried about picking the bird's nest will make the baby swiftlead homeless, because the bird's nest is not a real home of swiftlead. It's just a temporary residence. After the baby swiftlead grows up and flies away, the nest will no longer be used, and nest picking is usually done at this time. So, rather than saying treating the bird's nest as food is harmful to animals, it's more like an environmental protection behavior of waste reuse. Well, let's start the last story today, which sound might be a little bit horrible. Most Chinese people like eating dog meat. Is this true? As a matter of fact, this is a problem that has troubled the West for a long time, and it has also brought a lot of embarrassment and misunderstanding to the Chinese people. If we want to answer this question, we must first trace back to the origin of this view. At the end of 13th century, Marco Polo, one of the first European travelers to come to China, mentioned in his famous travel notes, they ate a variety of meat, including dog meat and other ferocious beasts. In the following decades, the Western media almost never stopped fearing the various weird ways to eat Chinese food. In 2002, the Daily Mail in the UK published an article titled Chop Fui, which made it infamous, said that Chinese food is the most unreliable food in the world. Chinese people eat bats, snakes, monkeys, bear paws, birds' nests, shark's fins, dog tongues, and chicken feet. By calculation, it has been 7 centuries since Marco Polo wrote about the Chinese people have a fondness for dog meat. Westerners still cannot forget these weird elements in Chinese cuisine. Indeed, traditionally, the vast majority of Chinese people do not divide animals into 2 categories, pets and edible animals. They think that any animal can be eaten. Moreover, some Chinese people do believe that dog meat has the effect of nourishing their bodies, or that dog meat is a unique delicacy. However, in reality, the majority of ordinary Chinese families often eat staple foods, pork, and vegetables, with at most a fish or seafood added, depending on the place. There are actually very few people who eat dog meat, and there are so many people who have never eaten it at all. Meanwhile, more and more dog lovers are actively calling for dogs are one of man's most loyal friends, calling for stop eating dog meat, and advocating for living in harmony between humans and animals. This view is also becoming the consensus of more and more Chinese people. In particular, I would like to recommend a British food writer, Fuchsia Dunlop, who has spent 20 years eating almost all of China and written 5 books about Chinese food, such as The Food of Sichuan, Land of Fish and Rice, and so on. These books have won the James Beard Award 4 times, which is known as the Oscar in the culinary and catering world. If you like, why not to Google it and see what Chinese cuisine looks like in the eyes of an authentic European. Okay, that's all for today's stories. In China, eating wild poisonous mushrooms and eating dog meat are only habits of a very small number of regions or a very small group of people. It's definitely not an option for most Chinese people. On the contrary, eating bird's nest has become very popular all over the country. Finally, how many did you guess right? Do you think this Chinese culinary culture is special and interesting? Welcome to leave your comments. Of course, if you have any questions about Chinese culture or just want to know more about it, you are also welcome. Leave a message to me. Who knows, maybe next time your message will become my topic. Shooting videos is really tiring. You know what? I think I should eat a bowl of bird's nest to replenish my body.